What's going on, everybody? Adam Waters, lead pastor here at the Bloomington-Normal Vineyard. Before I begin today, would you take a minute, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a comment, and just say hello, ask any questions you might have. This is our kind of monthly, every 6 weeks. It's really when I've got an afternoon to do it, right? We do these videos. We call them Live from the Lobby. We call them 10 Good Minutes with Adam. We're sharing about what's going on in the life of our church, what's happening here, the stuff that God is up to, that we want to encourage you to, that we want to make sure that you know about. And you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting in our lobby right next to a giant pile of food on this side. This isn't everything. A bunch of stuff's already been moved out of this area back by the offices. But I'm sitting by this pile of food that we're getting ready to bless people with. It is the holidays. It's the start of the holidays. It's Thanksgiving food box season. I know there are a few items that are still being purchased out there and being brought in. But all in total, when we're done with this, it's going to be like 5,500. That's a lot. Like 5,500 items that will be either donated, brought in, purchased, money given for us to go purchase items here in our city that we love. We do. We love this city. That's why we're here. We're here to engage our cities with Jesus' love and good news. We're going to do this amazing thing this weekend where we're going to pack up all those boxes, and then we're going to partner up with 15 different schools and a couple of nonprofit organizations. And then we have our volunteers from both our church and from some other organizations, some other businesses in town that will come and help us distribute all this stuff. It's just an amazing, amazing time. And I'm not going to talk to you about all the details of that because I've done that before. But what I want to encourage you today, if you remember Corey's message last week, and maybe I'll pop up a picture up on this area or something like that of her with her hammer. I'm feeling the sledgehammer need more than I ever did. Corey talked about urgency and God's intentional urgency and how he moves from like giving us a vision or a dream or putting an idea and a thought and a passion within us. And then he reveals it in the suddenlies. You ever notice that in the Bible, right? It moves from, we have these time moments where every day we're doing the same things. We're reading our Bible, we're praying, we're getting up and going to work, and we're living out our lives, and things go over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden there's a suddenly moment from God. This feels like one of those suddenly moments from God, where it's not just the routine and the repetition of doing the same things, praying for people, loving people, caring for people, reaching to our cities, the stuff that is just the constant stuff of the kingdom that's never going to go away. It feels like we're moving from those moments into what I just feels like a suddenly moment for us, a suddenly moment where not only is this the week of us doing the food boxes, which is always an amazing, amazing time for us as a church team, as a church family. But I'm sitting out here like amongst all of this stuff. I mean, it is just piled, right? It's just piled, not including all the stuff that's already piled in the auditorium for Sunday's event. I'm sitting out here amongst all this going, this feels like a suddenly moment of moving into the next thing. I know God is showing us just practically real, when you go into the nursery on Sunday and there are 6 babies in there, which in our little nursery is almost too many. And you realize that there are a bunch of infants, 4 or 5 infants that people haven't even brought into the nursery this week. And suddenly it feels like, what are we going to do about this nursery issue? When you come on a Wednesday night to youth group and you realize every corner of this building has got a circle of junior or senior hires meeting in their group for prayer and discussion, and every single corner when they're doing games is this place is just, it's filled with activity and life, which is so exciting to see. And then we have Thanksgiving food box outreach, and you look at every place we can shove another, box of stuffing or a thing of toilet paper or, foil pans or even just the boxes themselves that we're going to stuff everything. We've got to find a spot for that. Every single corner where we got to store a stack of chairs. And it just feels like one of those suddenly moments where God is saying, hey, friends, church, I suddenly want you to stop thinking about doing business as usual and suddenly start thinking about what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do to make sure that this thing can grow and expand and become everything it could be? I mean, even this Sunday, even services this Sunday, both of them packed with life and energy and worship and new faces. And it just feels like a suddenly time. I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling that, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like this is a suddenly time, a time where it's like God is suddenly moving us from business as usual, which has been really good business as usual, right? I mean, all the baptisms, the life change, the growth in our church, to we're going to have to start thinking about what are we going to do next? What are we going to do in next year? I mean, guys, some of you that have been around here a while, you remember 10 boxes to 50 boxes to 100 boxes to 200 boxes to 300 boxes to 370 boxes. What are you going to do next year? This time next year, if we increase our box count, which is likely, let's say we hit 400 food boxes next year, we will not have room in this building to store all that food. Suddenly, we're going to have to decide what to do. When Bradley took over the youth group a few years ago, actually when Tyler took over the youth group, there was no youth group. And then Bradley kind of took over the youth group from Tyler and grew it from a handful of students to, dozens and dozens every week. And if it continues to grow at the pace that's at, it continues to move forward and continue to add new leaders, continue to add new groups of kids. And, one time it was, one group, and then it was junior high, senior high, and then it was a couple of high school groups, and it was boys and girls, and now it's, I think 7, 8 small groups that meet on a Wednesday night with the youth. Suddenly, what are we going to do next year when there's even more? Suddenly, we got a bunch of people with babies in the church. What are you going to do when all those infants begin to go to the nursery? And how are we going to fit them all? How are we going to fit them all in the nursery? Suddenly, what are we going to do? I just feel like this is a suddenly moment for us as a church. And I want to encourage you in these last couple of minutes. Beyond anything else, I'm so excited. We're so grateful. We're so thankful for your generosity of time, talents, and treasure that has made this place special. You guys make this church what it is. Corey and I do our best to lead, but you guys make this church what it is. And so what are you going to do in this suddenly moment? Not just what are we going to do? What's the staff going to do? What's the board of the church going to do? What's the small group leaders? But what is everybody going to do? What are you going to do in this suddenly moment? What's going to be your contribution of time, talents, and treasure? It's going to take resources for us to think through, how do we get 400 food boxes worth of stuff in here next year? The youth group has filled the building on Wednesday night. I know not everybody's here on Wednesday nights, but I drop off my students every week, and it is exciting. It's exciting for me to drop off my kids. What do you do when suddenly the youth group can't meet in this facility? It's the only facility we got. What are you going to do when suddenly there's too many babies for the nursery? What a great problem to have. We love life, right? And we love life. We love children. This is a church that loves families, and we want to continue to reach families. What do you do when suddenly there's just not enough room to store the things that it takes to do ministry on a regular basis for kids, for youth, for small groups? What are you going to do when suddenly Alpha grows next year? I think it's grown a little bit every year. Our School Kingdom ministry begins to grow. What are we going to do when suddenly those Taco Tuesdays, those Tuesday night discipleship stuff is happening, and we don't have enough classrooms to do more than 2 classes? What happens when that happens? When we need to do childcare for those groups, suddenly what are we going to do when our bilingual Spanish group that meets on Friday nights isn't just 10 or 15 people, but it's 30 or more people? What are we going to do when suddenly we have to deal with that? And I want to encourage you guys. I want you to pray personally as a family. And for many of you, I'd love for you to get back to me or to Corey. Love for you to email me. I'll throw that down here, right? I'd love for you to email me and go, this is what we're going to do. I want to know, what are we going to do when suddenly God's blessing and our capacity to receive them don't match up? And I feel like that's kind of where we're at, right? I feel like that's kind of where we're at, is we're in this place where it's like, one thing we're not going to struggle with for quite a long time is parking. I'm looking out the window here, and I can see, we could probably handle a few more cars. But suddenly, what are we going to do when the bucket that we have to receive the blessing isn't as big as the blessing that God is pouring out? And I think it's our time to ask and to pray as families, as friends, as small groups, as church members. God, what are you asking me to do in this suddenly? And I just encourage you guys. He loves to talk to you. He loves to have a relationship with you. That's what's the amazing thing about our God, right? He loves to have such a deep relationship with you that you can talk back and forth to him, receive answers in your heart and your head, even in the scriptures, of what he's saying to you in this season. So in this suddenly moment, have that conversation with God, because great things are going to happen in this suddenly season, friends, as we do Thanksgiving boxes. The holidays officially start. We begin to have all of our Christmas celebrations and things. We have our end of the year party here in a little bit. We have another round of baptisms. Yay. And I've already had a few people talk to me. Another round of baptisms in December. God is up to so many good things. And in this suddenly moment, he wants you to talk to him about what your role is in that. Let's not sit in the stands. Let's get into that. You know how like people rush the field or rush the court when their team wins? Let's get on the court or on the field, and let's rush in there and get into the suddenly moment and celebrate with God and get in on the celebration. So, man, you guys are amazing. 9:30, 11 this Sunday. We're going to wrap up the series that we've been in. We're going to pack a whole bunch of boxes at 1 o'clock on Sunday for our cities. God's up to good things, and he wants us to go along the ride with him. See you guys. Bye.